Say this powerful secret sentence and let its truth sink deep into your mind. Money flows to me in perfect ways, under grace, in divine order. When these words leave your lips, they are more than mere sound. They are a spiritual decree, a command that sets unseen forces into motion. Every word spoken with faith carries vibration, and that vibration gathers substance. Speak this sentence not as a plea, but as a declaration of truth. You are not begging for wealth. You are aligning with the law that governs abundance. When you affirm that money flows to you in perfect ways, you release the belief in struggle. Struggle belongs to the realm of fear, and fear creates resistance. Perfect ways imply harmony, ease, and right channels opening at the right time. It means opportunities appear without force. It means supply comes without worry. The very moment you speak the sentence with conviction, you lift your thoughts from limitation to infinite possibility. You step out of lack and into divine order, under grace. What does that mean? It means you do not earn this supply by effort alone. It comes as a gift, not a grind. Grace moves beyond logic. It defies appearances. When you declare under grace, you are calling for blessings that do not harm or hurt, blessings that bless everyone involved. Divine supply never robs, it multiplies. It adds peace where there was anxiety. It adds joy where there was stress. It never arrives through fear, fraud, or force. Only through perfect rightness. When you speak this secret sentence, hold the picture of your life already filled with good. Feel it in your heart before it appears to your eyes. Do not argue with appearances. They are temporary shadows. The unseen realm holds the substance of wealth, waiting for your command. The spoken word is that command. Speak and release it, trusting the law to work without strain. You do not plant a seed and dig it up daily. You trust the soil to do its work. So trust the spiritual law to do its work for you. Every time doubt whispers, answer with this sentence. Let it roll off your tongue like a song of certainty. Money flows to me in perfect ways, under grace, in divine order. Say it in the morning to set your day in tune with abundance. Say it at night to anchor your dreams in supply. Say it whenever fear knocks, for fear cannot enter where faith stands guard. Wealth is not withheld from you. It is waiting for you to claim it. Speak with authority, speak with joy, and then walk as one who already possesses the good you have declared. For the law moves swiftly when faith is steadfast. This sentence is the key. Use it, and doors of plenty will swing wide. When you speak the secret sentence, you must understand that it is a decree, not a plea. This distinction is powerful and determines whether your words carry authority or weakness. A plea comes from a place of lack, as if you are begging for something that does not belong to you. It assumes separation between you and the good you seek. A decree, on the other hand, springs from recognition of truth and dominion. It is a command issued with certainty, knowing that the law of the universe responds to your word. When you decree a thing, you speak as one who possesses authority, not as one hoping for charity. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to conviction. When you plead, you vibrate with doubt. You affirm that the thing you desire is far from you, and your words carry that feeling. But when you decree, you affirm possession. You declare that what you seek is already established in the unseen and is now coming into manifestation. There is no begging in the language of power. The spiritual law does not require persuasion, it requires recognition. The decree says, "This is mine by divine right, and it now comes to me in perfect ways." That statement is a seed planted in fertile soil. You do not plant it and then cry over it, asking it to grow. You plant it and trust the process because you know the nature of the soil. In the same way, you decree and trust the law because you know the nature of the law. The moment you shift from pleading to decreeing, your entire vibration changes. You move from fear to faith, from uncertainty to assurance. Your tone changes, your posture changes, and so does your result. A plea says, I hope, but a decree says, I know. Hope waits, faith acts, a decree acts. It is an order that leaves no room for the opposite. It does not consider failure, because failure is impossible when the word is spoken in faith. The law cannot return void. It must accomplish what is sent forth to do. When you decree, you release that law into action. You must train your mind and tongue to speak this way. Many have been taught to pray as beggars, thinking they must convince the universe to give them what they want. But the universe is not withholding your good. It is waiting for your word. It is waiting for you to speak as an heir, not as a servant. When a king issues a decree, he does not repeat it in fear. He speaks it once with authority, and the realm moves to fulfill it. So it is with your words. Speak them as law, and they become law. To decree is to stand in your spiritual dominion and claim your good without hesitation. The decree acknowledges abundance as your birthright. It recognizes that the substance of what you desire already exists and only needs to be called into form. When you plead, you focus on the lack of it, and lack multiplies. When you decree, you focus on possession, and possession appears. That is the difference between waiting and receiving, between hoping and knowing. Speak the sentence not as one asking, but as one declaring. Let every word carry the vibration of certainty, for certainty commands manifestation. Every word you speak carries a vibration, and that vibration sets forces into motion that gather substance. Words are not empty sounds. They are creative units charged with energy. When you speak, you impress the invisible with your thought, and that impression begins to take form in the seen world. The vibration of your words attracts to itself matter of like nature. Words of faith attract good, words of fear attract lack. This is not mere philosophy. It is spiritual law as exact as gravity. Whatever you decree with conviction must return to you in kind, because vibration never ceases. It draws after its own nature. When you speak words of abundance, you tune your mind and environment to the frequency of abundance. Everything in the universe moves in waves of energy, and your words are part of that universal movement. A word of prosperity, spoken with belief, radiates a tone that harmonizes with success. It calls forth opportunities, ideas, and channels to bring that good to you. This is why idle or negative words are so dangerous. They too carry vibration and set up conditions in line with their tone. A careless statement like "I can't afford it" vibrates with limitation and draws more limitation. Every time you say it, you strengthen that vibration until it becomes your experience. Your spoken word is the visible evidence of your inner belief. If you speak in fear, the vibration will carry fear and create after its kind. If you speak in faith, the vibration will carry faith and produce substance in harmony with faith. Words shape your destiny because they are containers of power. This is why ancient wisdom teaches the power of the tongue, warning that it brings life or death. To speak is to decree, and to decree is to create. The question is, what are you creating with your words? When you choose words of certainty, backed by feeling, you accelerate manifestation. Feeling intensifies vibration. A cold, mechanical statement will not move the law, but a word charged with emotion and conviction sets the ethers quivering with power. The unseen responds instantly to a vibratory command of faith. It begins arranging circumstances, drawing people, and opening channels that match the tone you have released. This is why affirmations work only when spoken with belief. Repetition alone cannot help if the heart denies what the lips affirm. But when both agree, the vibration is clear, strong, and irresistible. The material world is not solid in the ultimate sense. It is condensed energy held together by vibration. When you speak, you influence that field of energy. You draw to yourself the substance that matches the vibration of your word. Speak of wealth, and you invite the vibration of wealth. Speak of lack, and you invite the vibration of lack. Every word is a seed, and the soil of the universe does not discriminate. It grows whatever you plant. The harvest depends on the seed, and the seed is your word. Therefore, guard your tongue as you would guard your treasure, for it is the instrument by which treasure is gained or lost. Do not speak of what you do not want to experience. Fill your conversation with the tone of abundance, success, and well-being. Let your words be rich in faith, for faith carries the highest vibration and draws the finest substance. Remember always that your world is built first in the unseen by the vibration of your word, and then it appears before your eyes. Speak with intention, speak with power, and watch as substance rushes to obey the command you have set in motion. When you affirm that money comes to you in perfect ways, you are declaring that your supply does not arrive through struggle, stress, or confusion, but through channels that are effortless and harmonious. Perfect ways means the law of right action is working for you, aligning people, opportunities, and circumstances so that your good reaches you at the right time and through the right means. There is no forcing, no manipulating, no exhausting effort, because divine order eliminates the need for strain. The perfect way is the path of least resistance, where everything flows naturally without friction or delay. It is not about sitting idle, but about being inwardly poised, ready to act when the right door opens, and confident that the right door will appear. When you try to make things happen by sheer willpower or anxiety, you often create resistance. You push against conditions, trying to bend them to your desire, and this blocks the very supply you seek. Perfect ways remove that resistance because they rest on trust. They acknowledge that the universe has infinite methods to deliver your good, far beyond anything your limited reasoning can imagine. When you insist on one channel, you close the door to countless others. But when you affirm perfect ways, you release the outcome and allow the law to choose the best channel. This prevents mistakes and delays because divine intelligence knows the shortest, safest, happiest route to bring your good to you. Effortless channels do not mean inactivity. They mean inspired action rather than forced labor. There is a vast difference between action born of fear and action born of faith. Fear-driven action feels heavy, scattered, and exhausting. Faith-driven action feels light, sure, and guided. When you affirm perfect ways, you are calling forth that guidance. You are declaring that every step you take is the right step, leading you to success without detours. Obstacles dissolve before you because you are on the appointed path, the harmonious way where all things cooperate for your good. Harmony is a sign that you are in the perfect way. When events fall into place without struggle, when people show up to assist you without strain, when doors open as if by magic, you are witnessing the effect of your decree. The perfect way is marked by ease, not tension, by peace, not turmoil. Even if the path appears difficult for a moment, the perfect way turns seeming difficulties into stepping stones. What looks like a delay becomes a blessing. What appears as loss becomes gain. The perfect way never harms you or another. It brings good to all involved because it operates under grace. It is never at the expense of someone else's happiness or peace. It multiplies blessings instead of diminishing them. Affirming perfect ways also protects you from forcing the wrong thing to happen. Sometimes what you think you want is not what you truly need. If you force it, it brings trouble later, But when you affirm perfect ways, you are asking for the best outcome for all concerned, the highest good that leaves no regret. The law then selects for you, and the result is always better than anything you could have arranged. That is why those who trust the perfect way often say, "It came to me in a way I never imagined. The channel was unexpected, but it was the right one." This is the beauty of perfect ways. They surprise you with their precision and perfection. When you declare that your good comes to you in perfect ways, you set a law in motion that eliminates struggle, replaces confusion with clarity, and brings abundance with peace. It is the way of divine order, and it never fails. When you say that your good comes to you under grace, you are calling for blessings that arrive without harm, without conflict, and without cost to anyone. This phrase is a safeguard in the spiritual law, for it ensures that what you receive is rightfully yours by divine right, and it blesses everyone connected to it. Under grace means you do not take from another, you do not force, and you do not create loss in order to gain. The blessing that comes under grace leaves no trail of sorrow behind it. It multiplies good instead of subtracting it. This is why affirming under grace is essential in every declaration, for without it, the human will may try to push its own way, causing struggle and discord. Grace is the element that lifts your manifestation above human limitation and brings it through channels that are fair and just. Many times, people gain something through fear, manipulation, or dishonest means, and while it may seem like success for a moment, it eventually turns to ashes because it was not obtained under grace. True wealth cannot come through harm to another, for the law of cause and effect will return that harm. But when you affirm that your good comes under grace, you release it from the realm of chance and competition and place it under the law of divine order. There is no competition in spirit. There is no shortage, so your good does not need to be wrested from another. It flows to you without friction because it belongs to you by right. Under grace also means in a perfect way and at the perfect time. It removes struggle and hurry, for grace works with ease. You do not have to force an opportunity or fight for recognition when grace is at work. The doors that open under grace open freely and joyfully. There is no anxiety, no sense of taking advantage, no feeling of guilt. Instead, there is peace because you know that no one has been deprived for you to prosper. Every party is blessed in the transaction. That is the mark of a true manifestation, mutual benefit and harmony. If what you call success causes pain or loss to another, it is not under grace. If it leads to worry, conflict, or regret, it is not under grace. Grace never brings trouble. It only brings blessings that expand and uplift everyone involved. When you affirm under grace, you also allow the infinite intelligence to choose the right channel for your supply. Many times, the human mind is fixed on one avenue and thinks the good must come through that person, that job, or that deal. This often leads to strain and disappointment because the human way is limited and short-sighted. Grace, however, finds ways you never thought of. It works beyond logic, beyond calculation, beyond human effort. It finds the channel where no one is hurt and everyone is helped. It brings your good through paths of least resistance, where all things cooperate with ease. That is why blessings that come under grace often feel like miracles. They happen without struggle, and they bless far more than you expected. Affirming that your good comes under grace keeps you aligned with divine law. It shields you from forcing your will or interfering with another's freedom. It ensures that your wealth, success, or opportunity is clean, pure, and permanent because it is founded on harmony. Nothing gained under grace can ever be taken away unjustly, for it is secured by spiritual law. So every time you speak your word for supply, add the safeguard of grace. It is the guarantee that your blessing will bless you and everyone touched by it. It is the mark of true prosperity, the kind that enriches, uplifts, and leaves a trail of peace behind it. To trust the unseen is to place your confidence in the invisible realm where all substance originates, instead of being swayed by what your physical eyes behold. Appearances are temporary. They are the shadows cast by past thoughts and beliefs. They are not the ultimate reality. When you see lack in your outer world, an empty bank account, unpaid bills, or delayed opportunities, you are looking at yesterday's creations. If you continue to give them power, you perpetuate them. But when you ignore those appearances and hold steadfast to the truth of abundance, you cut the chain that binds you to limitation. You begin creating a new condition based on faith, not fear. Faith is the ability to see beyond appearances into the substance of things hoped for. It is the vision that looks through the veil of lack and sees plenty. The unseen is not nothing. It is the invisible supply from which all visible things are formed. Everything you now see was once unseen. The chair you sit on, the building you live in, the money you handle, all began as ideas before they took shape. The invisible is the storehouse of all good, and your thought and word are the tools that draw from that storehouse. When you trust the unseen, you are acknowledging the true source of supply, which never runs dry. You no longer depend on a single channel or person for your good, because you know the source is infinite and eternal. Ignoring appearances does not mean denying what your eyes see. It means refusing to accept them as final or unchangeable. You look at them without fear, knowing they are subject to change by the power of your word. If you see lack and dwell on it, you feed it with your energy and it grows. But if you see lack and declare abundance, you shift the pattern. You turn your attention from the visible effect to the invisible cause, and the cause begins to rearrange itself in your favor. This is why your inner attitude is so important. The world outside cannot change until the world inside does. As long as you accept appearances of lack as real and fixed, you keep recreating them. The moment you reject them as illusion and affirm the truth of plenty, you open the way for new conditions to manifest. Trusting the unseen requires persistence. When nothing seems to happen and appearances grow worse, that is the test of faith. Many give up at this point because they think the law has failed, but the law never fails. The seed works in the darkness before the sprout appears. The gestation period is invisible, yet it is the most critical stage. If you stop believing during that time, you uproot your desire before it has a chance to bear fruit. The wise hold their vision regardless of appearances. They speak words of abundance even when their purse is empty. They give thanks for supply before they see a penny. They act as if the good were already theirs, and in due time, the unseen becomes seen. Every miracle begins with someone who trusted the invisible more than the visible. They looked beyond limitation and held to the reality of abundance until it broke through the surface of appearances. You must do the same. When lack stares you in the face, look past it. Affirm quietly but firmly, this is not the truth. Abundance is mine now, and it manifests in perfect ways. Refuse to argue with shadows. Fix your gaze on the unseen substance, and it will clothe itself in form. The law is certain, but it works through faith. Trust the unseen, ignore the lie of lack, and you will soon walk in the land of plenty. Consistent declaration is the power that anchors your desire and transforms it from an invisible idea into visible reality. Every word spoken with faith imprints the unseen substance of life, and when that word is spoken again and again with conviction, it becomes a fixed pattern in the creative mind. This is why a single affirmation spoken once without belief rarely changes conditions. but a steady stream of declarations charged with certainty reshapes circumstances. The law responds to persistence because persistence demonstrates faith. When you declare something consistently, you are saying to the universe, "This is true, and I refuse to accept anything else." Each declaration is like a drop of water wearing away stone. One drop does little, but thousands of drops change the shape of the rock. Likewise, one spoken word begins the work, but repeated words build momentum. They erase old thought patterns of lack and fear and replace them with new ones of abundance and confidence. Your outer world is always an expression of your inner conversation. If that inner conversation changes for a moment and then returns to its old rhythm, nothing permanent happens. But if you establish a new rhythm of speech day after day, the law has no choice but to produce after its kind. The creative force cannot ignore a steady command. Consistency also keeps your attention fixed on what you want instead of what you fear. When you do not speak your word regularly, doubt creeps in. You begin to look at appearances and question the process. But when you affirm your good morning and night, when you let your lips speak abundance instead of lack, you silence the voice of doubt. You strengthen your own faith. Your subconscious mind, which governs so much of your experience, is impressed by repetition. It does not argue, it accepts what it hears often and with feeling. Every declaration is a seed, and repetition plants that seed deeper until it takes root and grows without effort. This does not mean vain, mechanical repetition. Words without feeling are powerless. A parrot can repeat affirmations without changing its life. Your declarations must be alive, filled with conviction, and spoken as though they were already facts. Speak as if you were giving thanks for what you already have, not pleading for what you lack. That tone of certainty is what seals the manifestation. Consistency in this spirit turns the spoken word into law. The creative power begins to work immediately, drawing to you the people, opportunities, and resources necessary for your good. It rearranges conditions, dissolves obstacles, and opens doors you never imagined simply because you refused to waver. There is magic in steadfastness. The person who declares once and then doubts is like a farmer who plants a seed and digs it up the next day to see if it is growing. Nothing can grow under such treatment, but the one who plants and waters daily with confidence reaps a harvest. Your declarations are the watering of your desire. Each time you speak, you give it new life, new strength, new vitality. In time, the unseen takes shape and stands before you as fact. That is the reward of consistent declaration. It seals the manifestation so completely that no opposing force can break it. The law must answer, for the law is exact and unfailing to the one who persists. So now you hold the key, a secret sentence that carries the force of divine law. Money flows to me in perfect ways under grace in divine order. Speak it not as a wish, but as a decree. Speak it with faith, with certainty, with joy. Every time you say it, you set the wheels of abundance in motion. Refuse to bow to appearances of lack. Refuse to speak words of doubt. Let this truth be your song. That supply is unlimited and it is yours by divine right. Say it, feel it, and act as though it were already done. For when you declare it and believe it, the law cannot fail. Your wealth is on its way, swiftly, surely, in perfect ways, and so it is.